Let's talk about some Scientology mind control and the crazy things that these protests all over the world are exposing about Scientology.
Hip hip hooray!
Hello, everybody. Welcome. This is Scientology Life After a Cult. I'm Natalie. Big hello to everybody in the live chat. Thank you for being here. Hello to the members. Good to see you. Thank you so much, too, to the moderators for helping out today. I appreciate all of you so much. Thank you for being here. We're going to get into all of this stuff today, and there is a lot to get into, including, I don't think I could do a recap these days without touching a little bit on some Rebecca Minkoff, Real Housewives of New York news, which we're going to get to a little bit later, including some information and tools for you guys to use to contact your congressperson about Scientology. I'm going to show you a resource for that. We're going to touch on that a little bit later, but right now, let's just jump right into some Scientology propaganda. Okay. Do you remember a couple days ago where we shared the news about how L. Ron Hubbard Way, of course, has been shut down for months now, years even, I don't know. Okay, it's only been a couple of months. And there was this event that the Honduras community put on to celebrate their heritage and come together, and it was held on L. Ron Hubbard Way. We also know, per Audit LA, who is a First Amendment auditor here on YouTube, that Scientology has an in with the permitting department where they're able to rent out, close down L. Ron Hubbard Way, however they do it. And people like the people putting on the Honduras event could, at a reduced rate. Oh, microphone. Hold on. Thank you. I just saw that. Let's just make sure we got our settings right. We don't. That should be better. How's that? How you liking that? That should be much better. Let's double check it here. We should be good to go now. Oh, there is so many little buttons and things to click on the back end of all of this. And I swear, sometimes I feel like I need a Post-it with a checklist. Natalie, did you do this? Did you do this? Did you do that? I'm totally going to do it. I'm going to do it. Okay, so you guys know this whole Honduras event went on L. Ron Hubbard Way. And what was it that we talked about? I'm pretty sure I said, wait for it, Scientology is going to put out a press release claiming that they had something to do with this event in bringing together the Honduran community. And sure enough, it has come out. Scientology has put out a press release that they're sending to all over the place. Let's take a little look at it. I do not know how to pronounce these words. I wish there was a thing where you could highlight it while you're live streaming on here and it would tell me. Maybe there is. Anybody know? Is there a thing I can use when I'm doing live streams where I can highlight a word and it tells me how to pronounce it? Because I would love that. But while actually, like right there on wherever the article is. So is it Mihoken? Anyways, it's this festival on L. Ron Hubbard Way, brings the rich culture of Mexico to East Hollywood. So this one, I just can't with Scientology because these are events that are actually important, especially to these communities. And then Scientology puts out these press releases claiming that they put it on, right? That they hosted it. And here's the great things that it did. Folk dancers in traditional costumes and masks delighted those attending with performances. They really had nothing to do with it. And it goes on to talk about this. The festival was created by Mr. Martin Cruz, president of the Chicano Latino Immigrant Democratic Club, who also produced a 2-week Latin festival on L. Ron Hubbard Way earlier this summer. So you see how they do that? It's like just by standing next to somebody doing something legitimate, they're like, oh, we did that. We did that. We did that. I could think of a million things. And then, of course, they have to have the guy. They claim that Mr. Cruz praised the chefs, noting that their delight in their work is a classic example of one of his favorite passages from the works of Scientology founder L. Ron Hubbard. The greatest joy there is in life is creating. Splurge on it. Please, 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 please. You cannot, Scientology, you cannot. In fact, you know what? Hold on. Let's get the dear leader of Scientology, David Miscavige, out. Office of Special Affairs. So I know that your job is public relations, but when you continue to put out press releases for events that you had nothing to do with aside from being the venue, it just looks even more like you're trying to lift your leg like a dog onto somebody else's community and claim credit for what they're doing. And it is not okay. Not okay. Nobody's buying it. It makes you look culty and no one is buying it. So, Office of Special Affairs, my friends, you also know that we are here for you when you decide to leave Scientology and the Sea Org. So hit a girl up, Natalie at lifeafteraccult.com. Okay, so Scientology out there pretty much doing their same old thing, trying to claim that they did something that they did not do. I mean, no surprise there. We see it happen over and over and over again. Now, what about Scientology's fight and battle with psychiatry, right? This article, Scientology is on the brink of killing an entire medical industry. Because you guys know that L. Ron Hubbard hates the psychiatrists, right? Not just here on Earth, but apparently psychiatry going way back thousands, maybe even millions of years is at the root of all that ails us. Somehow, I don't know, maybe they were responsible for body thetans in some way or the implanting of them. He makes a lot of claims along those lines. A lot of them don't totally make sense, but that's what Scientologists are told. So let's look at this. The danger in this, as you guys know, is Scientology is trying to throw shade and discredit actual legitimate help for mental health, which is what psychiatry does. Counselors, psychology, therapists, whatever it is, wherever you seek out that help, they are trying to rid the world of that because one, it competes with Scientology. Two, it might empower you enough that you become so empowered in therapy, right, that you realize that Scientology is a cult and you can pull away from it and you can be your own person once again. And Scientology doesn't want any of that. What therapy and psychiatry and these things that they do is provide tools so that you can undo the mind control in Scientology. So of course, Scientology is not going to be for that and they're going to want to get rid of it. Mock says, I really need to make myself a Davy doll for reasons. I think you can still get them on Mark Headley's YouTube in their store. I don't know if they still have them. That's where it came from. Mine that I have actually was given to me by Chow Yun Smut when she visited here in the Twin Cities, and she was kind enough to give me my own David Miscavige doll, and I'm super grateful for that. And we've been having just so much fun with it. All right, so Scientology, back to their battle, their one-sided battle with psychiatry, one-sided. They call psychiatry the greatest evil on earth. By systematically targeting electroconvulsive therapy as part of its war on psychiatry, experts say Scientology could decimate a treatment that is saving so many lives. So the article gets, deeper into this. Those were among the words Scientology leader Miscavige delivered to a crowd of followers that included Tom Cruise and several other Scientology celebrities, including Walking Dead actress Jenna Elfman. He had said, it is neither overstatement nor a cliche to say, if you are looking for the greatest evil on earth, look no further than psychiatry. So those are the words of David Miscavige. And the article goes on to explain more BS, how Tom Cruise came in his helicopter and all that. I've linked this down below, and I'm going to link down below all the videos that we're going to talk about so you can go check them out. Oh, I just cannot. I cannot with these people. And it's so funny because it's so one-sided. Like, I don't really see psychiatry and psychology being too nervous about it. I mean, I don't know. Jibble Baggins says, trust me, the psychiatry and psychology are not worried one iota about the cult of Scientology. That's kind of what I think. That's kind of how I feel about it, is it's like, okay, say what you will. Nobody is listening to you outside of Scientologists. And it's actually very insidious because Scientology indoctrinates its members so heavily to not trust counselors, therapists, psychologists, psychiatrists, that when many not all, but it's common for Scientologists to leave Scientology and not want to seek therapy and help. The one thing that would really help them unravel the mess even quicker. And so it's kind of like they double down on this. And I don't doubt that that's part of why they do it. Because once you seek psychiatric treatment, you can no longer get Scientology auditing their version of counseling. You become what's called an illegal pre-clear. So if you're under psychiatric care, you take psychiatric drugs, you're not able to do Scientology auditing or go up the bridge to total freedom. Now you can train on the training side, because remember, it's split up into two sides. One is auditing, one is training. You can train, but you cannot do the auditing side. You could not go up and you could not find out about Xenu and body Thetans, but you could train. So that's kind of an interesting point. Okay, so now, I'm going to share, you guys, wait till you hear this. It just made me cringe. In fact, my hands are already sweating, anticipating that I have to listen to this again. So I apologize in advance to anybody that this might trigger in this ex-Scientology community, because I know I don't like it when I hear L. Ron Hubbard's voice. And just fair warning, we're about to hear L. Ron Hubbard's voice. So this is from, let's take a look at this. This is from What's My Star Worth? That is the name of the YouTube channel here, who did a video called L. Ron Hubbard's Disturbing Last Interview Within Church of Scientology. So let's see here. Where did I want to? I actually wanted to go to the beginning here. So let's take a look at this. And this is the last interview, as far as I'm aware of, that L. Ron Hubbard did. And yeah, it's so ick, but important, because it really speaks to, again, the mind control in Scientology.
Why do you think man is here on this planet? What's his purpose? Why is he in a body?
Well, he was put here, and he was supposed to make his own way out of it.
Who put him here?
Well, call it a supreme being or higher forces.
Oh, what? We're not going to call out Xenu in that interview? The supreme being or higher forces? Okay, number one. Ugh, ick. Let's get him off the screen. The supreme being in Scientology is what most would consider to be God or Allah, or if you don't call it either of those, but you believe in a higher power. That's the supreme being in Scientology. So we all know, though, that the Xenu story, that are you basically saying it's almost like he's trying to talk out two sides of his mouth? Well, God people put here, or some other entity, which you're going to find out is Xenu, sent alien people to Earth, threw them in volcanoes, blew them up, and so on and so on. It's crazy. So that's what he's talking about. Then listen to this.
In this video, we dive into the dark truths behind L. Ron Hubbard, the enigmatic founder of Scientology.
Oh, no. That's very funny. Man is asleep. He is hypnotized. He is made to fixate on certain things, you see, and the process that you normally know as brainwashing and that sort of thing is hypnotizing man. It's forcing him into certain values. It's crowding him by various duress into these values.
Now, this ding dong is saying that it's like all of these other things, right? Probably even psychiatry. They're hypnotizing people. We're all hypnotized. And it's exactly what Scientology is doing. It's exactly what he was doing. So it's almost like he's saying, hey, this is what I'm doing, but I'm going to make it sound like this is what I'm fighting. But this is actually what he was doing.
And he eventually becomes a person who has no awareness. Now, in Scientology, reverse the process.
Bull.
And you make him wake up.
L. Ron Hubbard was born on March 13th, 1911.
That is bullcrap. It doesn't reverse the process. And the more we learn, the more you find out about L. Ron Hubbard's time with Aleister Crowley and Jack Parsons and black magic and sex rituals and all of those things that he did leading up to him writing and releasing the book Dianetics. It kind of like it plays. It's on brand. It's like, I can totally see that. Very much so. L. Ron Hubbard very much gives demonic brainwashing, all of the things. And when you learn about that, I'm actually right now listening to the book Barefaced Messiah. Oh my gosh. I'm reading the book. I'm listening to a different one. It just blows my mind. These are things that I've heard before, even since leaving Scientology, but really listening to it in that, kind of exact order just really opened my eyes. And we're going to talk more about that in some upcoming videos, but that is enough. L. Ron Hubbard for one day. Let us all, like, I should have brought some like sage. Let's just sage this. Let's clear all that negative, icky L. Ron Hubbard. I wish I had something around here. Here. Let's bring some mermaid energy back into this. Okay, we're okay. We're okay, right? L. Ron Hubbard, gone, be gone. I'm just not down with that. It's just disgusting and gross. The man mortifies me. The man mortifies me on the same level that I think Tom Cruise mortifies me, because I see so many similarities. L. Ron Hubbard, Tom Cruise, David Miscavige, three birds of a feather that absolutely flock together. And you see that too on a personal level and a professional level with Tom Cruise, when there's a channel, Facts Verse, that did a video basically about all the celebrities that don't like Tom Cruise. And he is a very unlikable individual if you listen to what these people have to say. And let's take a look at why Brad Pitt is not a fan of Tom Cruise.
Brad Pitt's resentment during Interview with the Vampire. Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise's collaboration on the 1994 film Interview with the Vampire is the stuff of Hollywood legend. The two heartthrobs at the peak of their careers played immortal vampires locked in a battle of will and wits. However, behind the scenes, their relationship was far from friendly. According to reports from Radar Online, Pitt confessed to feeling miserable during the filming of the movie, largely due to his strained relationship with Cruise.
Can you imagine? I just can't imagine having to work with Tom Cruise and have these personality conflicts. And you might be saying, you know what, Natalie, I don't know. I mean, that's one person. How many people could actually not like working with Tom Cruise? Well, there are more. There's more.
Thandie Newton, the talented British actress known for her roles in Westworld and Crash, opened up about her difficult experience working with Tom Cruise on the set of Mission Impossible 2 in a 2020 interview with Vulture. Newton described Cruise as a, quote, very dominant individual who, quote, tries super hard to be a nice person, but ultimately succumbs to the immense pressure he puts on himself and those around him. She recounted a particularly challenging scene in which Cruise grew increasingly frustrated with her performance. Quote, I can't think of anything less revealing. It just pushed me further into a place of terror and insecurity.
Terror and insecurity. That's how Tom Cruise left her feeling. Are we surprised? Are we surprised? I don't think we are. Hey, everybody who's here, if you go over and show some aloha to the like button and check your subscribe as well, I would appreciate that. And Scientology and Tom Cruise would hate it. So go ahead. Give it to him. Give it to him. Okay, let's go see now. There's actually so much more in that video. It's hard to just stop at two. Mark Wahlberg. I mean, there are other people that just had all kinds of things to say about this guy. But we're going to move on to something a lot more pleasant and, in my mind, even interesting. Our very own here on YouTube, Tori Mago, 44, just got monetized, and she's so cute about it. Take a look at this clip where Tori receives her very first super chat.
Oh my God, it's my first monetization. I think I am. Now, yes, Queen. Thank you, JB808. Now, what do I do? What do I do? All right, there it is. Do I do anything? That's my only problem. I was telling Becky, I said, I don't really know what to do. Is that it? Are we good? All right, it's 8:50 there. Thank you, JB808. You are my first monetization thing, and I appreciate it. So if anyone has a question or anything you want to ask, good.
Just love that. I love it. I love her enthusiasm. I love that Tori's continuing to show up and get in Scientology's face in the simplest of ways. And because she maintains her composure and she's just in front of the Scientology buildings talking to people as they go by, they can't stand it. They hate it. People stop to talk to Tori. They share their own stories, and neighbors do, about their dealings with Scientology and how much they don't like it. Other people who had been in Scientology have come by and shared with her. I mean, it's just amazing. The woman is a treasure. I just love it. She is Vanessa. She is such a cutie pie. Yep, Mary Jane, she is just one of the cutest. Cubana Chica, she is so cute. Me and Taz, wasn't that awesome? I love me some Tori. Hey, Eric Rader, LOL, too cute. Absolutely. I'm so excited for her. I truly am. Okay, now let's go over and talk about a video that Liz Gale here on YouTube, you can find her, speaks about losing her family to Scientology. And Liz comes from a multiple generation Scientology family, a family who originally once traveled miles and miles, hundreds of miles to homestead property in Oregon that was in her family, is in her family for generations. Liz was kicked off of that land with her young family because she decided she was no longer going to practice Scientology. And this again speaks to the mind control. How strong does the mind control need to be for family members to shun and disconnect from their own family? Think about that. Think about people in your life, your family, siblings, parents, your children. Think about how much you love them. Now try to imagine that you decide to cut ties with them because they do not share your beliefs. And many of you, I think you might not be able to imagine doing that, because most people would not under normal circumstances, but with Scientology mind control, and the mind control is so that they can control the person, that is what happens. And we're going to look at a clip from a video that Liz did. Check it out, the full video, link down below so you can see it. Let's just look at a clip.
And this group of women here, that's me, the only one with my face uncovered, we're all this like really big, strong network of women in my family. And I have contact with zero of them now. And I made that choice. Even that little baby girl whose face is covered up, she thinks I'm like suppressive. All of it. Look at this beautiful land my family came across on the Oregon Trail in covered wagons, literal covered wagons, and homesteaded this land. And this group of
look at them. Just all of these people, all of these women, close. You can tell they have a family bond. They have a lot of pride and love of this land that generations ago her family homesteaded, and it's still in the family. And they kick her out because she no longer wants to practice Scientology. That is next level mind control, because most of you, again, would say, what, Natalie? I could never imagine doing that. I would never do that. They probably would have said the same thing until Scientology and the mind control kicks in. The control that Scientology puts on its members to not look at anything that contradicts what L. Ron Hubbard or David Miscavige or Scientology is putting forth about Scientology. Oh, hey, Liz. There's Liz Gale right now. I thought it was very brave of her to share this and share this story. So go check it out on her channel. Link down below when you have a chance. Let's now, the theme kind of today with mind control is really about familial disconnection, the harmful practice of disconnection in Scientology. And it's because of the mind control that this happens. And another person in our community, the SP chef, Samuel, is experiencing some devastating family disconnection. So whether you know Samuel or not, please head over to the SP Chef and show him a lot of love. He has a lot of love in this community from all of us. We will be his family. It's difficult when you leave Scientology and you dare to speak out about it, and then you lose your family because you no longer agree with the mind control. You're not going to play anymore. And it is so brave of people who know that that is what they face by speaking out, by sharing their story, that they could lose generations of their family even. And they still decide to do it because they believe so strongly that this insidious cult of Scientology needs to be stopped, that people need to know the truth. It's continued on for such a long time, and now their numbers are dwindling, and they're continuing to dwindle. There just aren't the number of new people coming into Scientology like there once was. Not that it was ever super stellar, let's be honest, but we believe there to be maybe 20 to 30,000 Scientologists worldwide. We're going to look at a clip from Samuel's video, which is an update on his family disconnection and how his family is being blackmailed by Scientology.
Scientology is blackmailing him, basically. Scientology is saying, if you want to have your spiritual freedom, the only way to become free, to become spiritually more aware, more advanced, and then you cannot talk to your brother Samuel anymore. And I call this blackmail because my brother genuinely believed that is true, that his immortality in that sense is sort of dependent on that. Of course, he believes he's a spiritual being, that he is immortal, is going to be born again and again, but he's in Scientology trying to break out of this cycle, to be reborn again and again and again. Every time when you start a new life, you forget everything, and then you have to start from zero. You have to start all over again. And in Scientology, the idea would be to be able to break that cycle consciously and to not lose all your memories and all of that.
And that is the goal. That is what Scientology holds over the heads of its members. Your eternal soul, your spiritual freedom, not going back to the implant station and having your memories wiped of your loved ones. So one of the reasons it is Scientology disconnection is so prevalent, and I want to say easy for them, but I actually don't think it's easy. For some Scientologists, yeah, it's probably easier to do just because by nature of who they are. But for many, it's hard to do, but they still do it because they believe, because L. Ron Hubbard said, when you properly label somebody as suppressive, as a potential trouble source, that is a kindness you're giving them because you're leaving the door open a crack for them to come to their senses, to do the steps necessary to get back into good standing with Scientology. And the family member believes that they want their own personal spiritual freedom so bad. They don't want to forget their families and the people they love lifetime after lifetime anymore. They believe that this is what Scientology will give them, the ability to not lose these memories and have to start all over again. And they also believe that it is an act of love in a way to disconnect from a family member who's against Scientology because you're properly labeling them, which leaves the door open a crack for them to return to Scientology and do the necessary steps. And I just want to say, Samuel, the SP chef, we love you. You got a sister right here. So I would love to step in, and my heart breaks for him. Absolutely. Right. Robin, my heart breaks for Samuel. I mean, I think that just kind of says it all. Sin to Scientology. Who would want to be born again and again and again in Scientology? Once is enough. I absolutely agree. But this is the thing they think. This is the power that Scientology holds over them. It's this: if you do not obey, if you are not obedient in what we're saying to do, this is what you will lose. And it can be difficult to undo all of that mind control. It's all mind control. Joe, thank you so much for the super sticker. It's so sad that you lose family, friends in the blink of an eye. Very true. Very, very true. Failed past mate, you're not getting notifications. Bummer. Make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. Sometimes people get unsubscribed like that, and I know that can affect notifications. I don't understand the rhyme nor reason when they work and when they don't work, but I figure I've heard it helps if you set the notification bell to all, so it's at least worth trying, and I appreciate that. PK from AK, Liz Gale, you're amazing. Your family is SPTV and your husband and children. Yeah. All of the people here in the community. Let's see here. Okay, so now let's go over to Eric Rader's channel. I went on his channel yesterday, which was, I really enjoyed that. I love going to other people's channels like that and being a guest, not having to do the heavy lifting as the host. I find that enjoyable, and seeing and getting to know their chat on their channel. I love doing that. And I was able to go on and do that with Eric Rader yesterday, and we had a great chat. You can go to, there's a link down below on Eric Rader's channel where you can watch the video. You're only going to find it on Eric's channel. So I link that down below. Let's take a look. The things that in Scientology where I stood out, and not always in good ways in Scientology, were mostly the things that made me me, and then coming out and being able to just be who I am while I'm still figuring out who I am. Because, you add to that, you've left a cult, but just all of the life changes that everybody goes through, even people never in Scientology. When you talk about if you've raised children and you've become an empty nester, or you get a divorce, or you've had a death of a loved one, it's all change that I think we all can connect on those points. And I love being able to talk about that with people never in Scientology because I like to see it through their eyes. How do they view this? And then you take people who are ex-Scientologists and having that validation of like, you saw it too? It is very healing for us as ex-Scientologists to be able to talk to each other this way, so open about Scientology. Because when you're in Scientology, first rule of Scientology, don't talk about Scientology. You're not able to discuss a lot of these things where you question, you have concerns, you saw things that were not okay. You are not allowed to speak. You are not allowed to say it. There is so much suppression put on Scientologists and ex-Scientologists to not speak, to suppress that communication. And it manifests itself physically in ways that, when you don't deal with it, when you cannot communicate, you can't let these things out, there's going to be consequences to it. It has to come out somewhere. I know this. I've experienced this in my life where I've shared with you guys some of the physical challenges I've had in the past. And I had, a neurology team tell me that basically a lot of it has to do with the trauma that I experienced growing up and being in the Sea Org with Scientology, and it rewired my brains in ways that need to be, rewired back to a way or in a way that more works for me. This mind control with Scientology, it's almost like it becomes physical in ways, right? It's the more we learn about how the brain works and how our bodies work and how our nervous system works, it makes so much more sense to me why it takes hold, why the mind control is so powerful, and why it's a tool that L. Ron Hubbard and now David Miscavige used to control people in Scientology and try to keep them in line. Don't misbehave. I'm telling you. Okay, so make sure you go check out that video on Eric Rader's page on his YouTube channel. Now let's go over to Hitzel, who I do believe is Hitzel in Austin still. I think Hitzel's still in Austin. We're going to take a look at a clip because with all the coverage that's been done across this community and others about children in Scientology, about children can't consent. It is written in chalk out of Scientology, out front their organizations. There are people there saying it over and over and over again. You would think that Scientology might not want to double down and be so obvious about how they're using kids. Well, Hitzel captured on camera them using a child to close the blinds when she showed up to protest Scientology. And this is exactly what I'm talking about, where it's like they're so ridiculous. One side doesn't know what the other is doing. Like they did not get the memo. Did you not get the memo? You're being attacked and called out for your abuse of children in Scientology. Children cannot consent to auditing. They shouldn't be delivering it and receiving it and going through very personal sexual questions with adults. It's not okay. So let's take a look at this.
They're making a child close down the blinds. How is this child trained to close the blinds?
Link down below, to her whole video. But you see, it's like, what are you doing? Let's put a kid up front. Let's put a kid up front. Let's do that. Yeah, nobody's calling us out on this. Child labor, all the things, exploiting children. No, let's put a kid up front. Let's have a child close the blinds, because surely no one will talk about that. Sometimes I think that on the inside, like it's a cry for help. Like, oh my gosh, let's draw more attention to this org and what we're doing, and maybe somebody will help us leave, because the stuff they do just makes no sense. Right, Joe? So sad to see this at a very young age. I agree. Old Fritz says, gross. Absolutely. Marissa, there are no kids here. Nope. And here they are. Let us put them out there for you. Let us use them to shut down the blinds and shut out the world. It's ridiculous. Abraham, could they be any dumber? Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Adam says they should rename OSA, which for those that don't know, it's the Office of Special Affairs. It's Scientology's dirty tricks branch. They should rename OSA Flapmasters. They do. They create all of their own like stupidity. Me and Taz, I think they're just stupid. I'm telling you, I don't know. It is dumb. PK from AK, ex-Scientologists are some of the strongest and most loving people out there. Stick together with your ex-Scientologist friends and family and keep that bond strong. And honestly, it's a bond I think that is helped so much by so many of you never in Scientology, but all in on ending Scientology. It's like the glue, the bond that just kind of keeps us all together, and to be able to freely, I don't know if you guys really, and maybe you do get how important it is for people who were in Scientology, if they choose to share their stories, and how much healing it brings us to be able to freely speak about it. And sometimes it gets messy. Sometimes it's just going to be a little messy. But being able to freely speak about these things is something that is new to many of us who were never allowed to communicate a disagreement or call something out in Scientology. And that we get to do that now here on YouTube with all of you is hugely healing. And to have you call things out in Scientology, that even as ex-Scientologist, I can speak for myself. There's some things that I didn't think of that way until I saw it through your eyes. And I go, oh my gosh, because that's all I knew growing up. So you just get used to seeing things that way. And even when you're away from it, you know no longer practice, nor would you do that. Don't always see it for really what it was. And that's why I appreciate your feedback and everything so much through this whole process. Mock says you have to face and name the horror to release the power over yourself. That is so true. And that's kind of what we're talking about here today with Scientology mind control. Being able to talk about it and get it out there and share about it and have you guys call it out is hugely healing, hugely. Mary James says, what I also love is this is a community of people from different areas of the world coming together to support y'all. Yep, me too. I love that. I absolutely love that. I wanted to say thank you too to everybody who has sent me cards and little gifts recently. I'm so thankful and appreciative of all of that. And it's been really fun to open up. Even somebody sent me some stuff from Australia, which I was like, oh my gosh, I've never gotten anything from Australia. But all of you, I appreciate you and I thank you. And it means the world to me, truly. All right, now let's go over to Fluffer Squirrel UK, who does a paint and ponder on that channel. And I love it because she gets together with people and then, just like talks about whatever. I mean, literally paint and ponder. But check this out because hold on a second. Did I bring up the right one? Yes, I did. Okay. I had a couple from Fluffer Squirrel because I love watching the paint and ponders on there, but this is the right one. Scientologeek was on, and you know what? Let's pull this. I think I'm going to pull it up in real time. First, let's watch the clip. Then we're going to pull up what she's talking about.
So currently I have 0 people testing.
Oh, that's not good.
So if anybody would like to test, please go to resources.sptv.space, go to the community, SPTV community source tab section. And please, if you want to test out the red volumes and the green volumes, I have both bots in there. I also have the links to each volume set for you to cross-reference and make sure that everything is correct. If it's not, please let me know what was wrong and why, what it came up with and all that kind of stuff, so I can modify the bot, hopefully, to get better answers. So currently I have 0 people.
Okay, so this is over on SPTV.space, and we're going to take a little look at this. Marilyn, even Coffee Cults and Craft says, I love Fluffer's paint and ponder. I know, me too. Okay, so let's take a look at this, what Scientologeek was talking about. So if you pull it up here on SPTV.space, you go to resources, SPTV community sourced. You then pull up, you go to let's go to HCO Bulletin Information Chatbot. HCO Bulletin Hubbard Communication Office. That's what HCO means. It's like the human resources of Scientology is the thing I can mostly, sounds like that. So let's see here. I think, I think I got to actually share the screen separately when we go to a different one there. So let's pull this up. So through the research page, you then get to this Scientology doctrine. This one is for the HCO bulletins. And I do not fully understand the whole what you do to test something, but I think you just go in and ask it questions. So please go to this resource and check it out. So I guess, let's see, send screenshots of conversations to Scientologeek@gmail.com, resource link for testing. So you can go in and ask these questions like, what does HCO Bulletin say about auditing? Is it going to pull it up? You guys got to bear with me because I am a Gen X with some boomer tendencies. Do you ask the question? Okay, because it looks like the other ChatGPT that I use. I feel like ChatGPT is my best friend. Let's see, what is auditing? Do I put it there? All right, what is auditing? Okay, so I don't know if I'm doing it wrong. So Fluffer Squirrel or Scientologeek, you got to tell me so we can go in here and play with this. Okay, there we go. In Scientology, auditing is essential practice, yada, yada. Okay. So Scientologeek, as I understand it, took all of the Hubbard Communication Office red volumes, and people, I'm talking each volume's like this big, and there's multiple ones. And the green volumes are the administrative policies of Scientology. So if you, maybe you can tell us in the chat too. I know Fluffer Squirrel's here. Can you kind of tell a little bit more about what people do to test it? Is it just go in and ask questions? You know, just for people like me who just kind of like don't necessarily know. Does it matter to you? Not to me. What versions of the green on white or red on white? Oh, what versions? That's a great question. I don't know the answer to that, but maybe somebody does and we can find out because they were redone. That is correct. I almost kind of want the older ones in there though, because the reason they were redone was to get rid of a few things that they wanted to hide. So I'm all for both. Let's see if anybody has said here in the chat. That's right, Gen X with boomer tendencies. That is me sometimes. Okay, I'm going to keep an eye up for an answer to that. Like, what do we do to test it? Go in and ask questions because I want to make sure people are doing that, especially people too in the ex-Scientology community. If you're ex-Scientologist, how fun would that kind of be? Or for people even never in Scientology, ask questions and get the answers right out of from Scientology themselves. Because how do you deny it at that point? So let's yeah, if somebody can tell me, otherwise I will find out after the stream, what do we really need to do to test it? Buckled up, Buttercup says, I'm a boomer with some Gen X tendencies. LOL, that's a keeper. That's hilarious. Okay, so Fluffer Squirrel says, if people could ask questions and there is a link to refer to and let Scientologeek know if there are any problems. Okay. Okay, great. So go ahead and go to that. And if you didn't catch where it was, just go back on this video and she says exactly where it is, where you can find that. That's awesome. Adam says SPTV has its own source information retrieval system now. That sounds good, but see, I don't even like fully understand what that is. I mean, I can kind of figure it out by the words in there. Fluffer Squirrel says, we'll let her know either way. I will ask if she can do a short video to explain much better than me. That would be awesome. And I would love to share it because I think it's possible that a lot of people might not understand when you say test it. Well, what does that mean? What does it look like? If you could explain it to us in kind of a step-by-step process, I know that I would appreciate it and maybe it'll help some other people too be able to do it. Jamie Castro, do you think David Miscavige believes Scientology himself? I go back and forth on this. I think he does to a degree, but where I become conflicted about it is he knows there's no operating Thetan level 9 and 10. He knows this. He knows that L. Ron Hubbard, the drugs that he had in his system when he passed away, he knows like all of these things. He knows that his past history, L. Ron Hubbard's history, his war, being a war hero, he knows those things are a lie. So I don't know how he can truly believe it. Because for many of us who leave Scientology, what helps us to leave Scientology and not go back is knowing the truth about L. Ron Hubbard, knowing the truth of the history of Scientology. So David Miscavige knows all that, yet is still the head of Scientology. That makes me think that no, it's a money grab at this point for him. And it's a power trip. It's about power. It's about control. It's about ego. And you can tell by the way he punishes people around him through either physical beatings or locking them in a double-wide trailer and depriving them of food and sleep, and being emotionally and physically abusive. There's been multiple books written about it. Mike Rinder wrote a book about it. Jeff Hawkins wrote a book about it. Multiple people have come out and shared about it. Mark Headley wrote a book about it. There have been so many witnesses to the abuse of David Miscavige. So I also feel like if you really believed it, again, through your own actions, and why aren't you doing the higher levels on the bridge to total freedom? Why? I think I don't know. I think he doesn't. I think he doesn't. You know what? You guys have followed this for a while. Tell me in the live chat, and if you're on the replay, tell me in the comments. If you think David Miscavige doesn't believe in Scientology and it's a money grab, give me a 1. Give me a 2 if you think he's a hardcore believer still. I honestly really would love to know what you guys think about this, because I know how I feel about it. But 1, if you think he's just doing a money grab at this point and being a cult leader, or a 2, if you think David Miscavige still believes Scientology and believes actually in it and that it can achieve the things that they claim. Because honestly, I'm not sure. And sometimes I feel like I'm too close to it in ways, but I really want to know what you guys think. I'm seeing some 1s in there. So let's keep going on that. I want to know what you think. If you were on the replay, please jump in the comments, because I do like to go back and read them and see what you guys think. It really helps me wrap my head around and process this in real time myself often, because even though I've been out of Scientology for 14 years, I was in Scientology for 35 years. It's going to take a hot minute. It's going to take some doing to kind of really separate all of that out. Jamie says, I think he does, but to an extent. Yeah, that's interesting. Okay, keep going with that, because I want to see what you think. Joe, thank you so much for the super chat. Did I already read this? It's so sad that you lose family and friends in the blink of an eye. I agree. I agree. Oh, and Irrelevant Panda, you probably saw, but I wanted to say, Irrelevant Panda, thank you for being a member for 5 months. That support means the world to me, and I truly appreciate it. Please let everyone know Queen Tori is finally monetized. Yes, we shared a clip about that, and that is something that she's just so cute about it. I can just hardly stand it. It's just so cute. All right, let's see. Let me close these ChatGPT screen. Real Housewives, Real Housewives of New York, Rebecca Minkoff, because the trailer for Real Housewives of New York came out, and it is scandalous, because I shared it with you guys yesterday. We looked at the parts that had to do with Rebecca Minkoff, basically someone throwing mass shade at her, saying that basically, well, maybe you haven't heard of her, but if you shopped at Nordstrom Rack, you would. Total shade. And then Rebecca Minkoff came back with, well, I built $100 million company, which she did. So you got to give her that. And then another Real Housewife was like, oh, if we're asked about Scientology, what do you want us to say? And Rebecca Minkoff says, no comment. You know they're not going to say no comment. It's so crazy. Well, there was another article. In fact, there's so many articles out right now doing exactly what I hope they would do, which is why I have been talking about this Rebecca Minkoff thing since it first came out. And I know a few of you were a little concerned and emailed me and like, Natalie, I mean, she's a Scientologist. Why are you promoting this or want her to do well? Well, first of all, I don't wish harm on any Scientologist because they're a Scientologist. If they are an individual perpetuating the abuses in Scientology, I got a problem with that. Some of them are victims of Scientology and the mind control, right? My problem is not with her. It's really more with her family. Her dad being Dr. David Minkoff, who was involved in the death of Lisa McPherson, and Scientologist Whitney Mills. Her brother, it's been reported and said that he's an Office of Special Affairs spy. So who knows? There's a lot of, I've heard quite a few things that really do back that one up. But what is she herself doing? And I think we're going to find out on this show. And the fact that in the trailer, Scientology was mentioned, there is no way that there's going to be no comment about Scientology. It made the trailer. Usually they're putting their best drama forward. And that is what I think they are doing. So I'm so excited. I can hardly stand it. Hardly stand it. So again, another article. There's so many of these out right now. The Real Housewives, the trailer comes out, but then look at this. What is the headline? Real Housewives of New York City newcomer Rebecca Minkoff bristles at Scientology question and boasts of $100 million company in season 15 trailer after castmate branding her boring. I'm not even going to get into the whole article because I pretty much told you what it said already. Called her boring. I want to see her bring it. You bring it, Rebecca Minkoff. You bring it. Don't shy away from the Scientology stuff. Take it head on. Answer those questions. Oh, I can't wait to see what happens. I'm truly so excited about that. Let's see. Old Fritz says, I strongly disagree about Real Housewives, Nat. They won't say anything about Sciento except no comment. We'll see. We'll see. That's a good point. I mean, I get where you're coming from. It really could be. I could be totally dead wrong. But let's see. Let's see. The fact, even if they don't talk so much about Scientology in the show, as we are already seeing, the mere mention of Rebecca Minkoff brings all of this Scientology drama with it. So even if it's not in the show, there are news outlets, there are YouTube channels, there's social media, which reaches so many people. And this message of Scientology and the abuses and everything will get out into the Bravo verse. And so many people will find out about it. So I'm totally here for it. Sandy says, Bravo producers are eating this up. I think you're right. There's no way. There's just no way. Nisa, right. If they made her sign a contract, then she would have to spill her guts. No, she doesn't even necessarily have to spill her guts, but usually in reality TV, the contract lays out that we can edit and cast you as any type of character we want, and that we can record and use everything. So I just don't see them staying away from it. I feel like if they were, they wouldn't have put it in the trailer. So we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. We shall see. I'm reading your different opinions on this. Very interesting. Sovereign, you make a good point. These shows are heavily scripted. There's a plan already for what's going to happen, whether the participants know or not. Exactly. Exactly. I mean, think about it. If you're a producer of a reality show, right, semi-reality show like this one, and you have a Scientologist on there and all that potential content and conflict, because remember, these shows are basically one conflict after the other. It's all complete drama. That's why we tune in to watch. There seems to be obviously a market for people who want to watch really wealthy people fight with each other. I watch it. I've really gotten into the Real Housewives of Dubai. Watched a bit of that. So I'm excited about it. Let's see. And some of you, you know what, we'll be talking about it. I'll recap it here. So I'll keep you guys up to date. Up to date. Ooh, me and Taz. I wonder if Scientology has started fair gaming the reality show. You got to wonder. I'm pretty sure. And how embarrassing too, as the cast member, to have your church get involved in something like that. I just cannot with these people. All right. There is an article out which talks about, what was it, 20 or 25 celebrities who left Scientology. Oh my goodness. Take a look at this. A lot of these we already know about. Laura Prepon, Nicole Kidman, of course. I would like to see Laura Prepon share more about Scientology. She is very active, I think, on Instagram. She's kind of doing a little bit of the influencer type thing. So I'm hoping she gets into it because I mean, you know, and if you follow her on social media, maybe ask her about it. If enough people ask, maybe she'll talk about it. I would like to hear about that. I definitely would. She left for a reason. Let's hear more about it. What was her experience like? Bijou Phillips, of course, she was married to Danny Masterson and then threw him out like yesterday's trash as soon as he was convicted. And she's out apparently living her best life. Riley Keough, this is Lisa Marie Presley's daughter. And I found this interesting because she was born into the church after her mother, Lisa Marie Presley, and her grandmother, Priscilla Presley, joined after Elvis's 1977 death. Lisa Marie reportedly met Keough's father, Danny Keough, through the church, and that is true. However, it is reported that the Daisy Jones and the Six star left Scientology in 2014. In August of 2023, she told Vanity Fair that she is spiritual but not religious. faith is a loaded word for people, but I think faith is faith in anything. Faith in love, humanity, the universe, whatever it is. I don't go to church, but I was always able to identify that spirituality was something I really needed in my life. Very telling. Another one I would like to see her talk about leaving Scientology. Honestly, all of these people. Nazanin Boniati. Now, you guys may or may not know her. She has a great acting career, but she was recruited to be Tom Cruise's girlfriend, and he was a total a-hole to her. And she had to go scrub bathroom floors as punishment because she dared to ask David Miscavige during a dinner to repeat himself. And Tom Cruise got so upset about it. I mean, can you imagine? You're having dinner, right? You're at your Colorado estate and you're there with the leader of Scientology, David Miscavige, Tom Cruise, and his new girlfriend here, right? And she, because she said David Miscavige has a little bit of a thick Philly accent. And I do believe that is English her second language? I think that was part of what the issue was. But whatever it was, she asked him to repeat himself. Pardon, excuse me, could you say that again? And he had to repeat himself a couple of times. And Tom Cruise lost it. She was done, over. Which, number one, I look at people who are really close to me as friends, right? Let's come up with an example of somebody else who I don't think has a Philly accent. I don't think Aaron growing up in Scientology does, but let's say hypothetically we're having dinner, right? We're friends. And I ask him to repeat himself, and another friend gets super pissed and upset about it. It's unhinged behavior. It is. What is the big deal? The woman didn't understand what he said. She asked him to clarify and repeat himself. Why is this a problem? That level of control is psychotic. It just makes no sense. Vanessa saying it. Yep. Straight up North Korea style. That is exactly it. You're right. You're right. Tom is abusive, controlling, disgusting. I agree. I agree so much about this. It's so stupid. So anyways, this article goes on. I linked it down below so you can see the whole thing. Those are just a couple. Peaches Geldof. I think that's somebody in the UK. I don't know a lot about her. Candice Bergen, which apparently was in Scientology for a hot minute. I don't know who that is. Michelle Visage. So you link down below so you can see the whole thing. Those first few just really kind of caught my ear, caught my eye. Joe, can you repeat that, Natalie? Joe, get out of here. I mean, it's so stupid. I just don't get it. I don't get it. I'd be embarrassed. I would be mortified to say that to somebody, especially somebody who's like they were seriously dating then. Somebody I was seriously dating, to treat them that way because my best friend, they asked them to repeat themselves. I just don't get it. It just shows you the level of ego that David Miscavige and Tom Cruise too really suffer from. Okay, we're going to go back to the SPTV.space website here because I want to share this with you guys. Link down below in the description of this video. There is a page on here. Pay attention. So this is Revoke Scientology's tax exempt status. And tell me in the chat, every time I read or I think Revoke Scientology's tax exempt status, I hear that song that Jacob Harkey, you can find his channel here on YouTube, did. Do you guys remember it? Let me know in the chat. Give me a 1 if you hear this too. You know how he sang that song? Revoke Scientology's tax exempt status. That's what I hear when I read this, and I love it. So revoke Scientology's tax exempt status. Find your district and choose which candidate or candidates to contact. Either BCC or forward your letter and their response to House Reps at SPTV.space. Let's see how many candidates we can commit to having hearings on Scientology's tax exempt status. So if you go down here, it shows you the U.S. House of Representatives 2024 candidates, and you're able to see, you can go and you can find yours. You can find your district. If you go, you can see, you can go state by state here. Guam, Hawaii, Idaho, Illinois, you can find out. And then the idea is you reach out to them. They're also going to have an example letter of what you can say. You're going to want to make that your own, communicate, in your style, and send it. And then they're going to keep track of how many replies, how many letters were sent, and what those responses are, because this is a very big election year. And this is the perfect time to what? Revoke Scientology's tax exempt status by contacting these people running for government office or already there and saying, hey, what's up? Where do you stand on hearings into Scientology's tax exempt status? This is why. Are you aware that locally where you live, you have a right as a citizen to contact your representative and even meet with them? You can schedule a meeting. I've done that on other issues in my community where you can actually meet with them where you live. You don't even need to go all the way to DC for some of them, and share your concerns as a constituent in their community. They have some accountability to that. So we want people to reach out, and this is a good resource. Go to sptv.space. And what do they have it linked as? I think it's under resources, revoke Scientology's tax exempt status. You can go through, see what party, district, who the candidate is, what state it is, and send that information when you start contacting people in your area to housereps@sptv.space. Forward your email and any responses so that we can know and keep track of, to the best that we can, and find out where our elected officials stand on revoking Scientology's tax exempt status. And this is a huge election year and the perfect time to be doing it. So that is a resource for you. I have it linked down below, and I'm asking each of you to spread the word about this, get the word out. If all of us do it and reach out, and maybe even get your friends and family to reach out about it to our elected officials, they will feel that. And when there's enough push, when there's enough people in their district saying, hey, we are concerned about this, and this is why, and this is how it affects our community, or this is how it could affect our community, this is what's happening in other places, you need to be aware, let them know, educate them on it. Desert Dog says, Jacob's song is a brainworm. Going to be in my head for hours now. You're welcome. Let's see. Oh, Nisa did it. So I tried to do that with one of these guys. They didn't answer my question, but I will try again. Exactly. Do it again. Send it to them again. These are people elected to represent what the people want. I mean, that's the idea. So let's put the pressure on. Let's put the public pressure on, right, Mock? Public pressure leads to action. And that is a great resource at sptv.space that we can use to be able to track this. And thank you so much to everybody involved in this effort, to the work that's going on behind the scenes to track it. And thank you in advance to all of you as well. So go to the website and you can see where to send your letters and any responses to, or emails, however you do it, going and seeing them in person, however you do it. Go over to sptv.space and check that out. And remember, before you leave here today, hit that like button, hit subscribe, send that notification bell to all so you can catch when I go live again. I do intend, I think it's going to work today. I'm going to do a video a little bit later, and I think I'm going to be doing it with Ono Nora about dating in Scientology. We touched on this yesterday with the Scientology dating website, but I've gotten questions from people like, is there such thing as a twin flame in Scientology? Is there one soulmate? How do Scientology or Scientologists view this? Is there a connection there? Because some of you might know about the twin flames cult that exists primary here on the internet. And we're going to get into it and talk about some things that might just surprise you. And I do believe we're doing that at 5 p.m. Central today. If you don't catch it live, catch it on the replay. And yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Anna, where do pirates eat? Arby's. I love your guys' funny jokes. Hey, Amber, good to see you. What are you going to do for your birthday? I don't know. Well, I am going to celebrate my birthday later in the month. Yeah, in fact, that reminds me, I got to book my ticket later in the month. I'm going to go to Clearwater and see friends there and celebrate my birthday and share it with you guys. It falls on Labor Day. I honestly don't know. It's weird. Well, now I'm going to start crying, but It's my first birthday, since Tony died, and I don't know what to do. I'll be honest with you, I have no idea, but it will be something. And just like also tomorrow, I plan to do a video later in the day with you guys and just celebrate him and our relationship, because tomorrow would have been our 11th anniversary. And rather than just ignoring it, I thought, why not tackle it head on and talk about it and celebrate it? And I don't know what we're going to talk about. I'm going to pretty much leave it to you guys, but I'm going to do that tomorrow, probably sometime later in the day after the recap. And then, yeah, 2 weeks later is my birthday. So there's, you guys are going to be seeing a lot of tears coming from me. Not that you haven't already. But I don't want to ignore it. I don't want to pretend like it's not happening. So I'm figuring that out. It's still my anniversary. Yes. Kim is blue. Cannot wait to see you in Coldwater again. Yeah. I'm going to be there next month. Aaron's birthday is also in September. I think it'd be a lot of fun to celebrate our birthdays together. Yeah, but I think that's kind of how I want to do it. I don't do well with suppressing things and acting like it's not happening, obviously, because I'm here on YouTube. But I just don't have it figured out. So you guys tell me. I don't know, what should I do? I just don't know. I'm not one to, I can't remember the last time, like I'll usually go to lunch with friends. I'll do something like that. I've not made a huge deal about it because, Tony was sick for almost 3 years. So we kind of got used to kind of doing our own thing and being home. And before that, it was a pandemic. So I've not really done anything major to celebrate my birthday in a long time. So I'm not sure. Phil Jones says it's not what you do, but who you're with. Well, I'm going to be with you guys. I know I'm going to do that. We're going to figure that out. Kim is blue. None of us have it figured out either, Nat. You're in good company. Thank you. Eric says, you do you, boo. Alohatology. Exactly. Thank you, Eric. And thanks for that great chat yesterday as well. I hope people check out that video. Me and Taz says, I have my wetsuit ready for all the tears, good ones and sad ones. James says, you'll know when you wake up on that day. And I think you're right, James. That's kind of how it's been going. Jamie, wait, what? You're going to Clearwater? Yep. Next month. We'll talk more about that in a bit. But yes. Yeah, I am. Kathy says, we'll be here. I appreciate that. Be with the little ones, Natalie. Best distraction. That is true. I should find out what my grandkids are doing. Yeah. Poof says, I know you want to honor Tony and go out. Please know, I think Tony will be okay if you stay home with chocolate and old photos. It's okay. It's all love. Oh, yeah. No, I don't want to go out. No. I don't want to go out on my anniversary. We would have probably done something at home, just kind of exactly what you're saying, with some good food and chocolates together. So we'll do something like that. But I appreciate you guys being here, and that'll be tomorrow. I don't know what time though. Maybe what if I did it at like 5 p.m. Central Time? I'm flexible because I've got the evening open tomorrow. So tell me in the chat, what do you guys think? Does 5 Central Time, you guys want to do a little anniversary thing tomorrow? Let me know. If 5 Central works, just throw like 5 p.m. in the chat if you're on the replay. If not, throw some other suggestions of times in there. But, that's usually, because you know me, if I go on too late, then, I get tired. Don't feel bad, Amber. Don't feel bad at all. No, it's a good thing. I had almost 11, fun, at times roller coaster, but good years. And I value that. And I want to honor our relationship and his memory. Tony was so much a part of my healing in Scientology. I just can't tell you. Where's my tissue? He was so much a part of that. So much. So I want to honor that too. Okay, 5 p.m. sounds like it works for some of you though. Does it matter to you? Not to me. Nat, you could do an all-day stream and we would be there for you. I appreciate that. I don't think I could do that, but and you can catch it on the replay too. Phil says, I meant that you can have family and friends with you. Didn't mean to bring tears. And there's us. No, I get that, Phil. I appreciate that. It resonates with me, what you said. That's why it brought tears. I completely know your intention and I appreciate it. Okay, good. Spicy Cat Foster can make it at 5. That's great. So let's see. Jamie, I'm not sharing the date just yet. It'll be later in the month though, in September, that I'm going to Clearwater. I'm going somewhere else first next week because you guys, we've been talking about getting on the road and visiting some live streamers and different content creators and just doing some fun live streams with them in their own area. You know what I'm saying? Not just in a, what feels more like a studio online, but being able to be with them there in person. And I'm going to do my first one next week. I'm not telling you where I am going yet. But we will be talking about that next week. So stay tuned. I'm super excited about this one. I really am. Poof 911, you wake up, walk Odin, and go live whenever. We'll find you without notice. Promise. I appreciate that. Thank you. Truly. And Lori says, it is. He's with you. I agree. Yeah, I agree. It's going to be whatever it's going to be. And I appreciate that you guys will be there or catch it on the replay. He was a large part of the channel. God, I hate crying on the replays. You guys know that. He was a moderator on the channel. And what did he do? About four videos, I think, that he did with me. And you guys really got to know him that way. Oh, Fluffer Squirrel, I need donuts so bad. It's going to be a donut day for sure. But I need good donuts, not just gas station donuts. I should find some good donuts for tomorrow. Sherry says, hello, Natalie. I'm a lurker, but I've watched your channel. I'm hoping you're doing okay. And please remember, having memories are the best. I just buried my parents together and going through photos helped. Sherry, I'm so sorry for your loss. And that's beautiful that they're together that way. And thank you for chiming in. Me and Taz, Natalie in the wild, looking for Scientologists. Can't wait for your road trip. Yeah, it's going to be something. And I really want to, for me, it's pushing me outside my comfort zone. If it's a road trip, sometimes I'm going to fly. Next week is going to be a road trip. And I've never done that on my own. I've never driven that far by myself. I've driven further than that, but like with my family. And I like that idea too. It's something I've not done and want to do and experience even on my own. And I will definitely be live streaming from the roads because you guys are coming with me. So pack your snacks and get ready to put on your seatbelt because we are going to do that next week. And I'll tell you more about it probably next week. Lori says, ask for the Tom Cruise cake for you, Jenna. Paging Jenna Miscavige. I should talk to her about it. I forgot about that. That's right. We talked about the Tom Cruise cake yesterday here on my channel. So yeah. You going to Jersey? No. I mean, eventually, probably. I actually do want to go to New York. It's in the cards. It's in the cards. Yep, Marissa. Yep, many more road trips. We're totally going to road trip. Absolutely, we are. I loved his modeling. That's right. My Tony was a good model. Yeah, for sure. All right, good. I'm glad you guys are excited about the road trip too. And that's the other thing I thought, having things planned that, what do I enjoy doing? I enjoy exposing Scientology. I enjoy sharing people's stories. And I thought, what better way than to join them in person in their environment where they are. It's beautiful and wonderful where we can do this online and I can share it here. But I think going into their space and doing that, I know I'm really interested in doing it, and hopefully you guys will enjoy it as well. Me and Taz says, how's your driving? I need to wear my hockey gear for safety. I'm actually a pretty good driver. On the road with the tunes on that you and Tony like doing. That's true. I also have multiple books on Audible that I'm working on getting through because I want to be doing videos about them. That'll be a good thing to be able to do. Mock says you're living your life now. That is so true. You know, I was married at 17. I had my first child at 19. And after I got a divorce, I was a single mom for a while with a 6-month-old and a 2.5-year-old for about 5 years, married my husband in Scientology. We were married, raised our, I had another child with him, raised our children. And after our split, when I met Tony, it wasn't my plan, like I didn't think I had, just gotten out of a marriage. It's like, I didn't really have a plan. And I'm so glad that it happened that way because he was so much a part of my healing. And we'll talk more about that. We'll talk more about that tomorrow. We are taking Natalie off or on the road, health and healing tour. I love that because I'm also trying to figure out, I don't know if you guys know this or realize this, that for the first time in my life, it's just me. I have my family, but I'm not raising a child. I'm not taking care of anybody. And so the question is, what does Natalie want to do aside from expose Scientology? Because I totally want to do that. In addition to that, what makes me happy? I don't know. I want to find out. So I'm going to hit the road, not full time, but if I can do this maybe even once a month and go to a new place, interview people in this community, and maybe along the way, just figure out and learn more about myself. I mean, that's a lot of time, solo traveling and what it is that I want. I honestly, I just don't know. I don't know. Susie said, is it someone you've met in person yet? Susie asked me that another way. Do you mean that I'm going to go see? Maybe. Vanessa says, oh girl, I love this for you. I've done a lot of solo travel, mainly for work. It's so freeing. You'll find out a lot about yourself. That's what I was thinking, Vanessa. And I want to do some of these trips with people too, because I thought it would just be fun. But yeah, that's what I was thinking too. It's a great opportunity for me to learn more about myself that way. Old Fritz, you still got your sandwich board from Clearwater? Yes, it is still there. I do believe that surrounded by Scientology, George has been holding on to it for me and protecting it. I need to check with him and make sure it's still there. Jamie, I'm going to celebrate my birthday. But, I don't know if I can pass up not protesting Scientology, so I might need to do that too. And to see friends. Sovereign says, I love solo travel. Yeah, I've flown alone, like when I've gone home to Hawaii, but not like this. That's right, Joe. Hit the road, Nat. Oh, that's funny. Oh my goodness. Yeah, you guys get it. Even Amber says, I have 4 years until my daughter turns 18. Not sure what I'm going to do with myself. Yeah, I'm figuring that out. There's no shortage of things for me to do just with work alone. I could just nonstop work all the time, but I'm trying to not do that. I'm trying to avoid that. And yep, you can talk to him too. He'll be next to you. Thank you, Laurie. Yeah, Mock says you could eat your cake and dance in front of flag. All right, these are absolutely great ideas. I appreciate it from all of you. We will talk more about this tomorrow. I'll do a recap, of course, and then, we'll do something probably around 5 my time, Central Time, I'm thinking. And then again, look later today, 5 p.m. Central Time. I hope to be popping on and doing that video with Nora about Scientology twin flames. Is it a thing? And what happens when Scientologists date? So tune in for that. Thank you guys. Hit that like button and subscribe. I appreciate you so much. And as usual, I hope you guys get out and have an amazing cult-free day.